Good morning, Newry Chamber of Commerce. I hope you're keeping really, really well. I want to thank you first of all for your patience in allowing me to send this to you pre-recorded. I am a little bit cautious at the moment with regard to COVID, and I know that you all 100% understand the position that I'm taking on this, but I promise you that as soon as all of these numbers settle down, the first place I'm going is the north of Ireland. I'm going to make it up to you all. Whatever the next event is, and I can be there, I will be there in the room, and I'll be able to, please God, shake your hand. So there's a couple of people that I just want to say hi to that I know are in the room. I want to say hello to Edwina Flynn and thank her very much for inviting me to speak to you guys today. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for her. I also want to say hello to Caroline, to Brona, to Emma Mullen, who I spoke with the last time that I was in the north. And I want to give a big shout out to Tony, because Tony has been working tirelessly to make sure that this event has gone off without a hitch. And we've had a couple of technical challenges, and this is called Resilience in Motion. Tony has been fantastic throughout this whole process, and he is a wonderful communicator. And I am really delighted to have been working with him a small bit in the background. And I'm looking forward to be able to meet you in person really soon, Tony. So listen, for now, I want you to settle down. I want you to make sure that you have your pen in your hand and a piece of paper, or maybe multiple pieces of paper in front of you. Because anytime that you hear me saying anything at all that is new to you, or if it creates an emotional reaction, or if you get a flippy stomach and you say, I like the sound of that, I want you to write it down. So for those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Nicola Connolly-Byrne. I have a company called NicolaConnolly-Byrne.com. I am an empowerment specialist, and I help people through the tools that I have designed over many years become the best possible version of who they can be, a more empowered version, a more boundaried version, a more valued version of who they are. So if you need to know anything, give me a shout afterwards and I'll answer any questions, because I'm raging that I'm not in the room to be able to do the live Q&A at the end, because in fact, that's my actual favorite bit of every presentation. So there's a couple of things that I want to go through with you. First thing are the shared agreements. So I will ask for you, because I would like for you to have open discussion after this, if that's okay. I would like for you to be open with each other and yourself. I would like for you to be honest no matter what. I want you to show vulnerability. And to show vulnerability means to be courageous, really. I want you to participate and ask questions of each other afterwards. You know, throw a couple of points out onto the table and have a little chin wag amongst yourself about the notes that you wrote down. I want you to have absolutely zero judgment of anything that I say or anything that anybody else says in the room after I'm finished speaking, because when judgment comes into a room, and this is really important in business, because this is not an environment, if you have a judgmental environment, it is not conducive for good business. So when judgment comes into a room, love, freedom of speech, and showing up fully, authentically for who you are walks out. So if you can imagine, we are operating businesses in that environment. It's not good. So we can't have judgment, okay? And also confidentiality. I share personal stories, and please God, when I'm finished speaking, you guys will be sharing personal stories with each other. So my business is based on confidentiality and anonymity. And I would like for all of us to offer that to each other. It's a two-way street today, okay? So let's move on. First thing that I want to say is everything is energy. The way that I'm speaking to you, I'm bringing a certain level of energy to you. This is how energy works with regard to gravity. You saw it working there live on camera, well, pre-recorded on camera. Newton's third law of motion: for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Everything is energy. The way you walk, the way you talk, your thoughts hold an energy. So we have to take massive responsibility for everything that we're doing and everything that we are saying. So when you rock up in your full authentic self, what this means is It's the quality of being genuine or real. And you know yourself, when you meet people for the first time, or if you know them for a long time, and you speak about them when they're not in the room, and you say, they're a real genuine character. They are just solid in themselves. You know exactly who they are, and you know exactly when you have them, and you know exactly where you stand with them. They show up fully, warts and all. That's what authenticity feels like and looks like, excuse me, in motion. Okay. So going back to everything is energy. If everything is energy, I want you to think of high vibration energy. So I'm bringing high vibration energy here to you guys today. And when you think of somebody who is authentic, and we're thinking of our wellness and our mental health and everything that has been going on in the last year and a half or so, and we think of what that energy has done to us, okay? What you focus on expands. So if I'm bringing high vibration energy to you guys here today and you're feeling this, if you're focusing on that, that's going to expand for you. You're absorbing that energy into your body, okay? So I want you to think of all of your encounters as high vibration energy and low vibration energy. So the opposite of high vibration energy is pretending that you are okay and entertaining false relationships. Now that's a very loaded sentence. So let's break that down. When you are being inauthentic, you're wearing a mask, and masks are heavy, especially in business. And eventually the mask slips in all elements of your life, okay? Another way that we can be inauthentic is by entertaining false relationships, by not putting your boundaries in place, by not bringing your opinion fully to the table in our personal lives and in our professional lives. I'll get to the merging of that in a moment. So when we have low vibration energy, you know what it's like when you walk into a room and you say to yourself, holy moly, what is after happening in here? You could cut the atmosphere with a knife. That is low vibration energy. I don't want to be spending time around low vibration energy. It is our responsibility to make sure that we are protecting our energy at all times. Okay? We also know the opposite when we walk into a room and we don't know what's going on, but we know that it's been something good. And we're like, oh my gosh, what's after happening in here? Sounds like there's after been great crack in here. What's going on? That's high vibration energy. They are the experiences and the people that we need to be associating ourselves with, and most importantly, creating, for the following reason. I know you guys can't see my slides. I can see my slides. It makes more sense to me from my end. And that's why I'm just absolutely raging that I'm not in the room. So I want to speak to you about the emotional contagion. And the emotional contagion is a real thing. And you know, when you are hanging around the water cooler and somebody starts bemoaning or complaining, or as I call them, BMWs, bitching, moaning and whinging, that is, it sticks to you, okay? All of that energy sticks to you. You absorb that energy. Do we want to be hanging around with that? I don't think so. Same goes for positive, high vibration energy. When somebody is encouraging, when somebody has a high spirit, when somebody is always solution focused, we can also pick up the emotional contagion from people like that. So we need to be mindful of the environments that we are creating in our offices, the culture that we're creating in our offices and our businesses. And I'm only scratching the surface here for you guys, okay? I'm only giving you the very, very introduction to what it is that I do. And that's why I'm looking forward to meeting you guys again in the future so that we can discuss this at a deeper level. Now, you heard me speaking earlier on about when judgment walks into a room, that love and creativity and freedom of speech walk out. So the opposite of love, because there's only ever two emotions that we're bringing to any table. There's only ever love and there's only ever fear. So let's speak about the fear-based stuff for a moment, okay? So we are all caught up in our heads the majority of the time. So we've three brains. We have our gut brain, which is the most important. It holds the most important. Then we have our heart brain, the second most important. And then we have our head brain. And we're operating from this space all the time, which is the third least important brain that we have in our body. So when we're rocking around and we're having challenges and we have our masks on, we think like the following. We think that we're the only one with this problem that's going on in our heads. We think that we're going to be found out at any moment and our colleagues will know that we are winging it. You fear judgment from others and subsequently become a people pleaser, again, wearing the mask. You suffer from imposter syndrome. And I use the word suffer there on purpose because suffer is long term. And the imposter syndrome is when you're walking around with the whip all day, you know, saying that you don't deserve this position, you don't deserve to be in this role, and you're pretending to be somebody that you're not. And the last thing is that you're wearing a mask, you know. And as I said, masks are very, very heavy and they always fall. So if you are bringing a fear-based false you to the table every day in your career or in your life in general, if everything is energy and everything is vibrating at a certain level, and you're bringing that false version of who you are to the table, the false you vibrationally attracts the false them, the people that we're spending time with. Now, when you have two people that are bringing the false version of who they are to the table, and we're all walking around pretending wearing these masks, saying that we're okay when we're not, saying that we're happy when really we're very, very unhappy. Vibrationally, you're going to attract the false version of other people to you. However, if you learn how to rock up as the 100% authentic version of who you know you are, you will have more energy. You will be more solution focused. When you show up in your vulnerable state, which is to be courageous, you, unbeknownst to yourself, give other permission indirectly to do the same. People will say, look how brave they are. Look at how honest they are. And you will grow from that space. You will grow from your authentic, free, raw version, showing up fully. Grow out loud. Say how you feel. Say what's on your mind. Share your challenges. Because I promise you, you'll feel lighter. You will be physically more healthier, mentally more healthier. And it's not as heavy because your mask will be off. And the freedom that comes with that is exponential. And then you have to go into the effect, the knock-on effect that that's going to have on your colleagues and on the business as a whole, and production and profitability and all of those things. All of those things have a knock-on effect. So when you are able to rock up as your whole authentic self, you will have your values, your own high core values completely in place. And when you add your own high core values to your own self-care, and I don't mean the package, I don't mean your wrapper, even though it's really important to maintain your wrapper, but the inside of us, what's going on the inside of our hearts, our souls, our brains, our gut, all of the internal self-care, which is proper self-care. When you merge your values with proper self-care, you have unshakable confidence. And that stuff is so alluring. It's wonderful for you because you're in flow and you're operating from the highest version of who you are every single day. And that is so alluring for other people. People are attracted towards that. People will be offering you help in order to be able to shunt you forward in your own development, because they will see the effort and the time that you are investing in you. Your people will, your tribe will swarm around you to create more of that. And again, what we focus on expands. And when we're focusing on stuff like that, all we're going to do is expand more of that energy, okay? So when you are operating from this space, as I said, you are solution focused. Another thing that I want to say about that is when you are solution focused, you are able to establish your safe circles so that you can show vulnerability. Not everybody, this is not utopia, okay? Not everybody is going to have your best interests at heart. Some people won't. Not everybody is your tribe. And I don't want everybody to be your tribe either. Not everybody can be your cup of tea, okay? And you can't be everybody's cup of tea. If you are trying to be everybody's cup of tea, you'd be a mug. And we're not mugs. We're very clever, bright people, okay? So it's very important that when you're showing up fully all of the time, and when you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable, that when you're going to the heart of your vulnerability and you're leaning in for help, that you only do that in your safe circles, where you know you're doing that with your 50-50 relationships of the people who have your best interests at heart, okay? Drop the mask, show up fully, warts and all. Consciously work on your confidence. If you know everybody has an element inside of them that needs to be worked on, that we need to refine, you're perfect as you are, but there's elements of our character that we need to refine in order to shunt our own development and our own happiness and our own wellness forward, okay? So when you have identified the element inside of you that you know needs to be worked on, that needs to be chipped away at consciously every single day, because half of us are walking around asleep, pretending, okay? The other thing that I want to say to you is that people are, and I read an article about this yesterday, Dr. Ciara Kelly wrote it in Dublin. Stop taking things personally and getting easily offended. We need to get our seal skin on, okay? As well as allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, we do need to get our seal skin on, okay? And I'll explain that to you more in a second. But the world, people either think that the world is a hostile or friendly place. If everything is energy and you're going out into the world thinking that the world is a hostile place, you will have hostile experiences. But if you, because that's your vibe will attract that. But if you think that the world is a friendly space and that's what you're putting out there, that is all that will show up. Yes, challenges will come, but we'll be well able for that because we'll have worked on our confidence and we'll have tapped into our resilience, which is our ability to be able to bounce back during adversity. Okay? Now, I want to speak to you about your business hat and your personal hat being merged for authenticity. When I'm speaking in businesses and we trash out what it is that I'm going to be discussing for their people, businesses struggle in wrapping their heads around that your personal self at home and your business self in the office cannot be two people. We can only wear one hat if we're going to be truly authentic. Our personal self and our professional self needs to be merged fully in order for us to be whole, healthy, and happy. If we do the opposite, if we put the professional hat on all of the time and we're pretending and we're wearing the mask and we're not bringing our authentic self forward, that is utterly exhausting. It is utterly exhausting. You will be drained of all of your energy and your resources that you need in order to be able to stay productive. And productivity is in direct correlation to profitability, okay? And we really need to look at that in a tangible way, that is the knock-on effect. If we don't create these environments in our businesses whereby we can and we are allowed to be vulnerable and authentic and tell our truths without judgment, Now, this I love. We are a big rugby family and Gaelic family, more rugby though. And the All Blacks have this wonderful saying, and it's called stab me in the front. And what that means is, we all know what stab me in the back means. And we all know that that is low vibration energy. So if somebody is stabbing you in the back, they are saying unkind things, they are speaking out of turn. Nothing good is coming from this, because we're not having open, honest and candid and vulnerable, authentic conversations. However, that's exactly what the All Blacks do. The All Blacks are one of the most successful rugby teams in the history of ever, because they have developed a culture in their club whereby the team, the back office, the management, the admin, the cleaners, the people who manage the pitch, all get together and they have a day where they stab each other in the front. I didn't like that day, because when you said or you behaved this way, this was the knock-on effect, and I felt this. And the wonderful part about this theory of stab me in the front is it has a massive direct correlation to their outstanding success. And they have the strongest of bonds. They have learned that the world is a friendly place, and they choose not to absorb somebody's energy that is coming at them from a critique point of view, not a critical point of view. Okay, that's all in the delivery anyway. Show them your teeth when you're delivering a difficult message. But I encourage all businesses to work on their culture, work on their values, and create an environment where there is zero judgment, so that people can actually stab you in the front. In my business, every Wednesday, we have a stab me in the front moment where we all take turns in speaking about how we felt that week went. It's very rare that we have a situation where we do have to call each other out on our behavior, simply because from the get-go that we have created this culture and this environment. And as a result, I have the most outstanding team members that I've ever encountered in my life. And I feel very blessed and very humbled by them every single day, because my vibe attracts my tribe and they remind me of the Navy SEALs. I have their back and they have my back no matter what. It was my privilege a couple of weeks ago to take some time off and take my family away for a well-deserved break. And there was a couple of my team members who were representing me on social media, speaking as my voice, because they have all of my tools and they've done all the work with me for many, many years. And that's how I need to be able to trust them at the Navy SEAL level. I am not working or operating for me. I'm working and operating for the person to the left of me and to the person to the right of me. I treat them like my family. And that is the culture that we've created. And I would 1,000,000% encourage you guys to operate as Navy SEALs and think about the person to your left, think about the person to your right. Do you have your own best interests at heart, or do you have everybody's best interests at heart? Is it competition, or is it fluid and you're there for each other? We need to lead by example and show our values in motion. When companies establish what their values are, it is really important that we teach people how to show them in motion every single day, like your Navy SEALs either side of you. So guys, we're coming to the end of this very, very short presentation. I've really enjoyed sharing it with you. I'm raging I'm not in the room. I really wish I was. If you have any questions whatsoever, connect with me on social media. You'll find me everywhere, Nicola Connolly-Byrne, or you can check out my website, nicolaconnolly-byrne.com. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic afternoon. It is your responsibility to mind your energy, and it is your responsibility to bring the best possible version of who you can be to the table every single day. I want to thank everybody that I know in the room for your support. And I want to give the last shout out to Tony, because Tony has done an absolutely stellar job at pulling everybody together today and making sure that this event has gone off without a hitch. I look forward to connecting with all of you again really, really soon in person. And I want you to lean in and take care of each other and start looking at the areas in your own life where you know that you need to refine. Take it easy. Have a fantastic day. Slán.